Hey there, everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law, where we learn through the misfortunes of others. Today, we're delving into the topic of TikTok's ban inside the United States. TikTok is an app that's captured the world's attention, with over 1.5 billion users globally and 170 million right here inside the United States. TikTok is owned by ByteDance, a massive Chinese tech powerhouse. Recently, a law was passed in the United States that requires ByteDance to sell off TikTok. Why does it matter who owns TikTok? The US government is worried that TikTok could be pressured by the Chinese government to disclose user data. Given TikTok's ownership, these concerns are not entirely baseless. This issue isn't new either. It's been brewing for years. Back in 2020, then President Trump banned TikTok with an executive order. Those orders got blocked by judges who said that Congress had not passed specific authority allowing the president to take such a dramatic action. Now, let's fast forward to the present. We're seeing a similar situation unfold, but this time it involves an act of Congress specifically authorizing a similar ban. Let's dive into the details of this law. The new law is called the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. Let's explore why some people believe this ban isn't just necessary, but also legally justified. National security is a key concern that keeps popping up in these discussions. Lawmakers have argued that since ByteDance owns TikTok, it has direct connections to the Chinese government, and there's a risk the information collected by TikTok could be weaponized. The concern revolves around TikTok potentially gathering sensitive information from half of all Americans and sending it directly to intelligence agencies in Beijing. This may sound like a plot from a spy thriller, but the scenario is far from fictional. Representative Mike Gallagher, an advocate for the ban, has emphasized his belief that TikTok provides China with direct means to spy on Americans. He has gone so far as likening this situation to a type of digital espionage, suggesting the collected data could be utilized from purposes ranging from extortion to undermining United States unity. So what type of information is at stake here? TikTok captures data points on its users, including locations, device specifics, browsing habits, content preferences, and even biometrics. In the hands of an intelligence service, this data could create an intricate profile of daily routines, behaviors, and even vulnerabilities. Beyond data privacy concerns, there's also apprehension regarding the potential manipulation of content by a foreign entity for an ulterior motive. Picture a scenario where a foreign government could influence or control the information you see on your homepage. Now there's the possibility of a foreign nation state directly shaping public opinion inside the United States, potentially increasing division and even influencing elections. Policymakers have argued that by ending Chinese influence on TikTok, they're saving the United States from potentially corrupting foreign influences. TikTok, for its part, denies these more nefarious motives and is fighting back. To start off, TikTok is taking action against the United States government, with their main argument revolving around a core American value, the First Amendment. They argue that this ban goes directly against freedom of speech. How so, may you wonder? Well, let's dive into the details. TikTok serves as a platform for self-expression used by half of all Americans to share their ideas, creativity, and viewpoints. TikTok argues with the ban, the government is essentially muting these voices. TikTok says this is not just about a company business, it's about Americans' essential right to communicate their ideas online. TikTok has also asserted the law specifically targets them out individually, which would potentially indicate a form of illegal bias in terms of viewpoint. In essence, by specifically targeting one platform based on its content, the government might be violating basic First Amendment principles. Additionally, TikTok has highlighted that selling off its US operations within 9 months, as required by the new law, is highly impractical. They claim that from a technological and legal standpoint, such a separation is not possible. Consider the challenge of dissecting millions of lines of code, transferring volumes of data, and maintaining the functionality of an app, all within a short time frame. They liken it to attempting open heart surgery, but with a butter knife. TikTok has also stated that previous court rulings found the government lacked evidence of an immediate threat and deemed the prior restrictions random and unreasonable. Prior decisions stressed the importance of proof and suggested less dramatic actions. Forwarding to today, TikTok is echoing a similar argument. TikTok contends there is no evidence provided by the government to warrant this dramatic ban. They also argue that concerns about security are based on pure speculation. TikTok argues the government cannot take these steps without solid proof rather than mere guesswork. Furthermore, TikTok isn't just stating, you can't do this. They are also highlighting actions they say they've already taken that the United States government is not giving them credit for. TikTok, for their part, says they've invested $2 billion in Project Texas, aiming to protect U.S. user data and address national security worries. Essentially, TikTok is expressing frustration, stating, we've tried to cooperate and provide solutions with you, and you're not working with us. They view this ban as more of a political maneuver rather than a genuine security concern and are prepared to vigorously challenge it in court. To analyze how the courts might look at this, we need to discuss the precedents that could shape this case and how past judgments might influence TikTok's future inside the United States. To begin with, let's discuss the authority of the United States at its borders. The Supreme Court has emphasized the government's power in border control. In United States versus Flores-Montano, the court stated that the government's interest in preventing the entry of persons and effects is at its zenith at international borders. This demonstrates that border points, the government can conduct searches and seizures without needing cause or a warrant. How does this relate to TikTok? The TikTok ban could be viewed as trying to restrict a product entering the United States. In the same way that physical contraband can be halted at the border by the government, it also arguably has the same authority to regulate digital goods that try to enter the United States. In United States ex rel. Turner versus Williams, the court highlighted that the government holds the ability to prohibit particular ideologies from entering the United States, even if those ideologies could be expressed from within the United States borders. Congress has specific authority to exclude foreigners, or in this context, foreign digital entities, if they're deemed a subversive threat. This implies that if the government perceives an app like TikTok to be detrimental to national security, it can say, sorry, TikTok, you're not welcome here, as a customs regulation controlling what can enter the United States borders. But what about the First Amendment? Do these restrictions on TikTok constitute a violation of speech? When it comes to the border, the court's rulings in the past suggest the answer might be no. The case of United States versus Williams explains that when it comes to border control, standard constitutional rights may not always apply in the same manner as it does within the territory of the United States. If a foreigner, or a foreign company like TikTok, is prevented from entering the country, it does not receive similar protections to those granted to United States citizens. Therefore, blocking TikTok is arguably not primarily a First Amendment concern because it pertains more to restricting the company and its access to the United States rather than directly silencing American speech. The case of United States versus Curtiss-Wright Export Corp. Also shines light on the TikTok ban. The Supreme Court has acknowledged the nation's authority in all matters of foreign affairs. Therefore, if the president, under the direction of Congress, determines that TikTok poses a security risk, the government is arguably empowered to take measures to safeguard the nation, including the prevention of illegal digital imports. This is not the first time the government has restricted foreign companies. Turning our attention to such situations as Kaspersky Labs and Huawei, national security issues have arisen where the U.S. government has opposed restrictions on those companies due to concerns about foreign influence and espionage. In those cases, the courts supported the government's stance, giving weight to the national security argument. However, these restrictions were more limited in scope, impacting primarily governmental contracts and software usage rather than enforcing a complete nationwide ban. The unique aspect of TikTok case lies in its reach. The ban impacts millions of American users and disrupts a platform's entire US-based operation. What implications does all this hold for TikTok's future? The court must determine whether the government's national security concerns warrant a ban or if TikTok's arguments regarding speech and due process will carry more significance. This situation and the resulting court decisions could change the way we perceive digital privacy, national security, and freedom of expression. The potential consequences of this ban as reviewed by the courts will be far-reaching. To start off, the courts might support the US government ban by keeping it in place. This would require the sale of TikTok or its complete shutdown of operations inside the United States. Such a ruling would have a ripple effect across all of social media. Not only would it establish a precedent for banning foreign-owned apps due to national security worries, but it could also lead to increased scrutiny and potential bans on other apps with international connections. Beyond affecting TikTok itself, a ban would profoundly affect influencers, businesses, and regular users alike. Countless content creators currently depend on TikTok for their livelihood by using it to promote products, share sponsored content, and interact with followers. A ban could compel creators to be forced to move to other platforms, potentially resulting in the loss of their current audiences that they've built up over a long period of time. There's also a chance that the court might rule in favor of TikTok by deeming the ban at least partially unconstitutional. This decision would establish a precedent that even issues relating to national security at the border need to be supported by strong evidence and weighed against rights protected by the First Amendment. If the ban against TikTok is struck down, it might prompt the United States to consider more sophisticated strategies for broader digital security concerns. Instead of imposing a ban, there could be a shift towards implementing targeted regulations that address specific security concerns without directly impacting speech. For instance, there could be a focus on enacting data privacy laws and imposing controls on how applications manage user data. This approach would likely involve some level of governmental supervision of projects, perhaps similar to TikTok's proposed Project Texas, which aimed at securing user data by securing it on servers controlled by an American company like Oracle out of Austin, Texas. By adopting this strategy, security concerns could be addressed more directly while ensuring the platform remains accessible. The resolution of this legal case might also inspire other countries to take similar measures. If the United States can prohibit TikTok due to its security worries, other nations might contemplate banning platforms such as Facebook or Google. This scenario could lead to a fragmented internet that is segmented based on country borders rather than being a universal World Wide Web. Furthermore, we shouldn't overlook the potential impact of this decision by the United States when it comes to trade and diplomatic relations with other countries. Technological corporations play a massive and increasing role in the worldwide economy, and measures such as the TikTok ban could even strain ties between nations. If the TikTok ban is upheld, it might be possible other countries might retaliate against the United States, leading to diplomatic friction, trade wars, or even potentially more severe international complications. While we anticipate the court's ruling, one thing remains evident. The digital sphere is evolving swiftly. The regulations concerning digital content both in the United States and in other countries is an issue that is only increasing in importance, particularly as nations worldwide look to issues like artificial intelligence and increasing impact technology is having on issues such as employment and the labor market. Whatever unfolds, it will undoubtedly have an impact. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.